Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, time for another Metal Earth kit, this time Marvel. Going to finish up with Thor's hammer, Mjölnir. I never can get that right. Thor's hammer. I'm not sure how difficult this is going to be, one way to find out. Let's tear it open and see what's inside.
Thor's hammer, Mjölnir, I believe. Instructions and 2 sheets, 2 rather large pieces, well, rather large pieces on the 2 sheets, and it looks like we have just the singular sheet of instructions. We have the usual front page with the line drawing of the completed model. We have a section about insertion tabs, folds, insertion holds, fold lines, giving you enough heads up on what's going on with these kits. The usual little tidbit about needle nose pliers being helpful for assembly, and they certainly are. And we have this little key or legend. The blue circle, when you see that in the directions, means to fold the tab over 90 degrees. The green triangle means to twist the tab. And then down here we have the 2 different diagrams, or the 2 diagrams of the different sheets, and it shows you where all the part numbers are, and we have a few color matched pieces because they're basically the same. You have these 2 kind of pinkish reddish pieces. They're the same piece. They're either side of the hammer. Anytime you see a part that's shaded the same color, these are the same identical parts. They're just used in different places, and rather than number each one and have a very crowded area, they just number 1. For instance, 17, this one's not numbered, but it's the same color, you know it's the same part. Open up the instructions. This front is page 1. This is page 2. Starts with part 1 and begins the assembly flowchart. And you just essentially follow the arrows, and they pretty much go in order of the number of parts. The one time that'll be interrupted is when you have the same parts in multiple places. You may jump back a number, but that's easy to figure out. And then page 3 and page 4. Tools that I use to assemble these kits: I have a pair of needle nose pliers, long needle nose pliers, which are very handy for bending and shaping a lot of parts, getting into tight areas. Flat nose pliers, good for making even flat folds. Clippers, excellent for getting the parts clipped off of the sheets or the trees. I also have a set of tweezers, and this is just a standard set you can pick up at any drugstore. These are more precision tools. These have little points which are good for getting into tiny little areas, and can sometimes take the place of a knife, which I have been known to use to pry parts apart to get to tabs, because sometimes things are so close together you really can't get to them with standard tweezers, or even with these tweezers. They're too close together. I have a pair of round nosed pliers they're ring pliers, and they're very good for shaping and curving small parts and just forming the shapes. I also have this drill bit set, which is great for forming cone shaped or cylinder shaped. I also have a bunch of other things like wooden dowel rods and pins and such, but this is a very inexpensive set, really not good for drilling with. Got it at the discount bin at some hardware store, and they are great. I often forget to mention it, but it's also a good idea to have some sort of magnifying glass. This one has a light to help light things up. It just stands on the table and allows me to see the teeny tiny little parts that I'm having to put together. We've got the instructions, we've got the metal sheets, we've got some tools to put this together. Let's begin.
It took me a bit to make out just how I was supposed to bend the first part. The picture did not seem to match what the instructions were saying, and at the time of editing this, there is no 360-degree view online. Oftentimes, with bases such as this, to bend the sides over, I just press them against the table so that it makes a nice clean bend. These little pieces attach at all sorts of angles. Some of them do not seem to fold right at first, but they kept falling into place. Be sure to bend the tabs so that they are all right angles from the top of the part. That way, they all point in the same direction towards the next connection, and the tabs will better line up with their slots. It might still take some time for you to get all of the tabs into their slots. Part 19 has a lot of tiny little flaps to bend down. I have to admit, I got a little impatient here. I often use my fingernails to bend over tabs. I rolled the handle around a drill bit to shape it. It did not work out as great as when I formed the guns on the snowspeeder, but with a little tweaking it turned out okay. I had to bend a couple of the previously twisted tabs out of the way so that the top of the hammer could close up properly. I thought I was done, then I realized I missed a step.
And here we have Thor's hammer. This is definitely one of the easier kits that I've built. It was not that terribly complicated. Now, these little rock pieces on the front are tedious, but not difficult. So it'll take you some time to do it, take you some time to work through it. But all in all, the builds are fairly straightforward. There's one build, one fold. Yeah, on this back side it's a little confusing at first, but once you work it out, There really isn't a whole lot to it. Now, I have actually taken and put in some magnets underneath, because without them, this hammer tends to fall off very easily. And I did also kind of get the strap a little off center, but whatever. I could try and fix it, but I'm sorry, I don't feel like it. This will give mine character. If I ever go to a Metal Earth Thor's hammer convention, I'll know which one is mine. It's kind of amusing that two of the Marvel Metal Earth kits, Iron Man and War Machine, are advanced models beyond a doubt and rather complicated, and the other two are rather simple. So it kind of strikes an odd balance. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.